In Royal Betrothal, the pairing I enjoy most is Meng Tinghui and Ying Gua. Whenever Meng Tinghui is hurt, Ying Gua looks as if he wishes he could suffer in her place. But everything changes after he sees the mark on her body and realizes she may belong to the Zhongwan royal family. From that moment, his feelings become tangled with his responsibilities as emperor. Ling Yunfei, determined to avenge Liu Ruyan, sells Wuqiong Pills throughout the capital to stir up public anger and make life difficult for Meng Tinghui. When Meng Tinghui allows him to escape under her watch, she voluntarily accepts 20 strokes as punishment to calm the resentment of the court officials. Ying Gua cannot bear seeing her covered in wounds, so he personally brings medicine from the palace and applies it himself. While treating her, he notices the Xuanniao mark of the Zhongwan royal family on her body. He is full of questions, but he says nothing. From then on, Ying Gua deliberately distances himself from Meng Tinghui. If her true identity becomes public, she could be executed for serving Daning while carrying Zhongwan royal blood. Worse still, Ying Gua was the one who personally promoted her despite opposition from the court. Now the person he trusts most may be a descendant of the royal family his own father destroyed. If Meng Tinghui discovers the truth, she may seek revenge for her family and plunge the country into another war. Ying Gua cannot allow innocent people to suffer because of the hatred between their two families, so he begins reconsidering everything about her. When Meng Tinghui wants to pursue Ling Yunfei into the valley, Ying Gua stops her. He refuses her request to expand the Zhongwan bureau and repeatedly finds excuses to keep her away from the Huxiao gang. Sometimes he tells her to stay with Yan Fuji because she has only just escaped danger. Other times he claims he is worried because Ling Yunfei is targeting her. But Meng Tinghui refuses to stop investigating. She even makes a military pledge that if she cannot capture Ling Yunfei within 10 days, she will resign from office. Eventually, Ying Gua has no choice but to accompany her. On the surface, he is helping her capture Ling Yunfei. In reality, he also wants to watch Meng Tinghui closely while uncovering the surviving members of the Zhongwan royal family. If Meng Tinghui and Ying Gua truly become enemies one day, will he regret allowing her into the imperial court before fully investigating her past? Will he regret giving her the freedom to enter and leave the palace whenever she wanted? After watching Royal Betrothal, I finally understood why Ying Gua ignores all the beauties in his harem, yet falls so deeply for Meng Tinghui. She is beautiful and talented, but the palace has no shortage of beautiful women, and the court has no shortage of talented officials. So why does an emperor go so far as to strip off his robes in a snowstorm and accept a brutal whipping for her? The answer is that Ying Gua never falls in love with Meng Tinghui simply as a woman. He falls in love with someone capable of standing beside him and carrying the burden of the kingdom with him. Some viewers think their romance develops too quickly, but I disagree. Their feelings begin long before either of them admits them. 10 years earlier, Ying Gua traveled outside the palace in disguise and rescued Meng Tinghui from among a pile of corpses. He told her that if sacrificing himself could save the people, he would never hesitate. For a young girl pulled back from the edge of death, those words were impossible to forget. Ying Gua did not simply save her life. He planted something deep inside her heart. Meng Tinghui herself grows up through hardship. An orphan raised in a temple, she later wanders the streets and does whatever she can to survive. She saves money to take the imperial examination, only to have her work copied and be falsely accused. Even after becoming the top scholar, enemies continue targeting her. Jiang Mei conspires to throw her into prison and burns the jail in an attempt to kill her, but Meng Tinghui forces her way out and survives. Later, she forces Jiang Mei to write a confession. Jiang Mei believes confessing will save her, only for Meng Tinghui to coldly tell her that someone guilty of such crimes should already be grateful to receive an intact corpse. Meng Tinghui is ruthless, but she grew up in a world where weakness could easily get her killed. What truly makes her impressive is her determination to destroy the Huxiao gang. They run gambling houses, traffic women to powerful men, extort grieving families, and commit countless crimes throughout Shazhou and the capital. Meng Tinghui nearly suffered at the hands of people like them when she was young, so she understands exactly what happens to their victims. After witnessing a Yu's suffering, she refuses to simply mourn and move on. She wants the Huxiao gang destroyed completely. When they retaliate and nearly violate her, she survives through intelligence and sheer determination. Later, she publicly beats one of their leaders even while senior officials condemn her. Of course, she feels fear, but once she believes something is right, fear does not stop her. That is exactly why Ying Gua chooses her to lead the Chaoan Bureau. The bureau answers directly to the emperor rather than the 6 ministries. Ying Gua became emperor at 14 and had very few people he could truly trust. He does not need another talented scholar. He needs someone willing to investigate powerful families, tear away political masks, offend officials, and take ruthless action when necessary. Meng Tinghui becomes the blade Ying Gua personally places inside the imperial court. At first, they use each other. Ying Gua needs her courage and ability, while Meng Tinghui needs the authority he gives her. But somewhere along the way, political cooperation becomes affection. Ying Gua becomes jealous when he sees Yin Qing applying medicine to Meng Tinghui. Meng Tinghui, meanwhile, repeatedly accepts the opportunities and protection Ying Gua offers her. Their feelings are obvious, yet neither dares cross the line between ruler and minister. Daning's ancestral laws forbid romance between sovereign and subject. If Ying Gua confesses first, Meng Tinghui could be punished. If Meng Tinghui confesses first, she could be accused of offending the emperor. So they remain trapped in silence, both understanding what the other feels. The cruelest part is that Ying Gua discovers Meng Tinghui's true identity before she does. The Xuanniao mark on her shoulder reveals that she is descended from the Zhongwan royal family. Another emperor might have arrested her immediately. Ying Gua does not. He keeps the secret to himself. He does not confront her or openly investigate her. To him, the Meng Tinghui he knows is not simply a Zhongwan princess. She is Lord Meng, the official who argues with him in court and stands in the rain offering him strategies for governing the country. He knows what blood runs through her veins, but he chooses to believe in the person she has become. Eventually, Meng Tinghui also discovers the truth. She learns that she is the princess of a destroyed kingdom and that the dynasty of the man she loves was responsible for destroying her family. Naturally, there is hatred. But Meng Tinghui ultimately chooses not to restore Zhongwan through war. She says that although she was born a princess, she wants her people to live safely. She knows another war would only kill ordinary people, and she also knows Ying Gua is a capable emperor. Instead of using bloodshed to settle an old hatred, she chooses to change the country through its institutions. On their wedding day, Meng Tinghui appears to assassinate Ying Gua, while Yin Qing exposes her identity as the Zhongwan princess before the entire court. In reality, Meng Tinghui and Ying Gua planned everything together to lure the Blood Moon Society into revealing itself. A bride raises a sword against her groom, while the groom calmly helps her continue the performance. By then, what exists between them is far beyond simple romance. They trust each other with their lives. To marry Meng Tinghui, Ying Gua strips off his upper robes outside the Xingzhu Hall and accepts the ancestral whipping beneath the falling snow. Every lash tears open his skin and spills blood across the white ground. He is not merely accepting punishment. He is using his own body to create a path for Meng Tinghui to survive, showing the entire court that he has chosen to protect her. Meng Tinghui eventually becomes Empress, but she is not imprisoned behind palace walls. She holds genuine political authority because of what she has accomplished herself, not because of her family or Ying Gua's affection. She and Ying Gua move from political opponents to partners governing the country together. That is what makes their relationship different. Meng Tinghui is never simply waiting for Ying Gua to save her, and Ying Gua is never an emperor who abandons everything for romance. His goal remains strengthening imperial power, while Meng Tinghui remains the sharpest blade he has personally forged. He doubts her, uses her, confines her, protects her, and eventually trusts her with his life. Their love is forged through politics, danger, suspicion, and sacrifice rather than simple sweetness. Still, one question remains. Why does Ying Gua risk so much for her when an emperor could simply replace one useful official with another? Because Ying Gua is deeply lonely. Before dying, His father tells him that an emperor must abandon personal affection for the good of the realm. Ying Gua is still only a child, yet he cannot even cry freely beside his dying father. When he misses his mother, he eats 12 boxes of pastries from her palace until he vomits blood. The imperial palace is beautiful, but for Ying Gua it is also a prison. Then Meng Tinghui enters his life. She argues with him, challenges him in court, fights with him over the lives of ordinary people, and refuses to treat him like a god. She treats him like a person. That is what Ying Gua truly falls in love with. Not simply Meng Tinghui's beauty, talent, or loyalty, but the woman willing to stand beside him instead of beneath him. The Lord Meng who argues with him in court, the Meng Tinghui who offers him strategies in the rain, and the woman brave enough to look him in the eyes and say she has no regrets. Yet one final question remains. Does Meng Tinghui truly have no regrets? She is the princess of a fallen kingdom who marries the emperor of the dynasty that destroyed it and then helps him govern that same realm. When she wakes in the middle of the night, does she ever remember the relatives she lost? When she gives up revenge, is it truly because she has chosen peace? Or because fate has left her no other road? Perhaps that is the most complicated part of Meng Tinghui's ending. Whether her choice should be called greatness, forgiveness, or simply acceptance.